When you stop caring, every narcissist does this next. The moment you stop chasing them, something shifts. And what happens next is something most people are completely unprepared for. If you've ever pulled back from a narcissist, emotionally, physically, even just mentally, pay very close attention. Because what I'm about to share could save you from falling right back into the trap. There is a specific, predictable pattern that every narcissist follows the moment they sense you no longer need them. And I mean every narcissist. It doesn't matter if it's an ex, a parent, a coworker, or a friend. The playbook is almost identical, and once you see it, you cannot unsee it. Let's start with something most people get completely wrong. When you stop caring, when you finally reach that point of emotional exhaustion where you just detach, you probably expect them to let you go. You think, maybe they'll move on. Maybe they'll finally leave me alone. That's the logical expectation. But here's the thing. Narcissists don't operate on logic. They operate on supply. And the moment you cut off that supply, something inside them triggers, almost like an alarm going off. Your indifference is the one thing they cannot tolerate. Here's why. A narcissist's entire sense of self-worth is built on external validation. When you were reacting, whether it was crying, arguing, begging, or even just responding, you were feeding that cycle. But the second you go quiet, the second you stop reacting, that is terrifying to them. Not because they love you, but because you just became a threat to their ego. And that's when phase one begins. They come back. Hard. This is what the psychology community calls a Hoover, named after the vacuum because the goal is to suck you right back in. But here's what most people don't realize about the Hoover. It doesn't always look like love. Sometimes it looks like a crisis. Suddenly they have an emergency. Suddenly they're sick. Suddenly they're sending a message at midnight saying they've been thinking about you. It feels urgent. It feels real. And that's exactly the point. If that hasn't happened to you yet, it might. Stay with me. Because here's where it gets more interesting. If the soft approach doesn't work, if the sweet messages and nostalgia don't pull you back in, the narcissist doesn't stop. They escalate. This is phase two, and it's where people get genuinely blindsided. They switch strategies without warning. The warmth turns cold. The pleading turns into accusations. Suddenly, you're the problem. You're the one who abandoned them, hurt them, betrayed them. They'll go to mutual friends. They'll post vague, emotional content online. They'll find creative ways to get your attention because any reaction, even anger, is still a reaction. And reactions mean you still care. This is not accidental. This is a calculated emotional move. What's fascinating from a psychological standpoint, and honestly, what makes this so painful for the people living it, is that the narcissist genuinely believes they are the victim in this story. That's what makes them so convincing. When they tell people you hurt them, there's real emotion behind it. But that emotion isn't about love. It's about loss of control. And that distinction changes everything. Now here's the part that almost nobody talks about. If you hold your ground, if you stay emotionally detached through both the sweetness and the storm, the narcissist will eventually reach phase three. And this phase is the most revealing of all. Some people call it the discard, but it's more accurate to call it the replacement reveal. They find someone new, and they make sure you know about it. This isn't coincidence. This is strategic. The new person isn't a love story. They're a prop, a tool to trigger your jealousy, your insecurity, your fear that maybe you made a mistake by letting go. The narcissist is hoping you'll look at that new relationship and think, wait, was I not enough? Am I missing out? Don't fall for it. That new relationship is a mirror being held up to bait you. In most cases, that person is experiencing the exact same cycle you just escaped. They are in the idealization phase right now, the same phase you were in when everything felt magical and the narcissist seemed perfect. Give it time. But here's the question I want you to sit with for a second. Why does knowing all of this still feel so painful? Why, even when we understand the manipulation intellectually, does it still pull at something deep inside us? Because this isn't just about them. This is about something that was done to us over time. Narcissistic relationships slowly rewire your sense of self-worth. They condition you to need their approval. So when you walk away, you're not just leaving a person. You're leaving a version of yourself that was built to revolve around them. And that is where the real healing work begins. Here's what the narcissist is desperately counting on. That you'll interpret their chaos as passion. That you'll see the hoovering as proof they care. That you'll mistake intensity for love. Don't give them that. Your peace, your genuine, quiet, unbothered peace, is the one thing they have no counter move for. When you reach a place of true indifference, where their actions genuinely stop affecting your nervous system, the game is over. Not because you won, but because you stepped off the board entirely. That's the goal. Not revenge, not proving something, just freedom. And here's the final thing I want to leave you with, because this is the part most videos skip over. The narcissist doing all of these things, the hoovering, the smear campaign, the replacement reveal, none of it is actually about you. It was never about you. You were a source of something they needed. And now that the source has dried up, they're scrambling. The chaos you're watching is the chaos of their unregulated psychology, not a reflection of your value. You were never too much. You were never not enough. You were simply in the presence of someone who is incapable of seeing you clearly. So if you're in this right now, if you're watching this because you recently went no contact, or you're thinking about it, or you're in the middle of someone's reaction to your distance, take this as your confirmation. What you're experiencing is real. The pattern is real, and you are not crazy for recognizing it. The fact that you're here, learning this, paying attention, that's not weakness. That's the beginning of something most people never reach, genuine clarity. Drop a comment below and tell me, which phase are you in right now? The Hoover, the smear campaign, the replacement reveal? I read every single comment on this channel, and your story might help someone else who's still in the dark. And if this video gave you even one piece of clarity, share it with someone who needs it. Here at Narcinity Insights, that's exactly what we're here for, to help you see the patterns, name the behavior, and take your life back. The next video you need to watch after this one is already waiting for you. Don't stop here.